Hey boys and girls, welcome to another flip video. This one's going to be a review of Elapsed Time, and it's going to take place at Alcatraz. So one of the things I did before I got to go to Google was go to Alcatraz, which was a really famous prison back in early 1900s. And you have to get the ferry because it's on an island out there. So here's where I started, and here's where I ended. So the ferry ride started at 8:15 a.m. and ended at 11:50 a.m. How long was I on the ferry? So what we would have to do is an elapsed time problem. If you remember, we have our timeline method, or the Z method, but same kind of concept. So as we know, the time that it started goes here, so that would be 8:15, and it ended at 11:50. Now my next whole hour after 8:15 would be 9 o'clock, not 9:15. Then we have 10 o'clock. Then we have 11 o'clock. So from 8:15 to 9 o'clock would be 45 minutes. 1 hour, 2 hours. Then from 11 to 11:50 would be 50 minutes. Now our final step is to add that all up. So we've got 45 minutes plus 50 minutes. That gives us 95 minutes. You can't have 95 minutes because that's over an hour. So we would subtract 60 minutes from that and give it to so that's now 3 hours. 95 minus 60 would be 35. Plus our 3 hours, remember we had the 2 hours, then we gave it an extra hour when we subtracted out the 30, or the 60. So we've got 3 hours, 35 minutes on the ferry. Now, one of the things we did, my friends and I, we met this gentleman whose name is Bill Baker. He actually was one of the people who was in the prison while it was open, and he's now out of prison. And he's realized that he made some mistakes. But anyways, one story he told us was that every day at 10:30, while he was there, they would let them out into the yard to either do work or to kind of play different sports. And then they had to be back inside by 2:45 p.m. So I'm curious, how long were they able to be outside for? So you solve that, and then we'll walk through it together. Alright, so I'm going to do both the timeline, and I'll do the Z method, whichever one you chose. So we have our timeline, 10:30 a.m., 2:45 p.m., next hour would be 11, following hour would be 12, then it would be 1 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock. Don't need a 3 o'clock. So from 10:30 to 11 would be 30 minutes. 11 to 12 is 1, 2, 3, and then you jump, and that gives you 45 minutes. So I'm going to move this over slightly, and we have 30 minutes plus 45 minutes give us 75 minutes. So again, can't have 75 minutes of more than 60. Take away the 60, give that to the hours, and you're left with 15 minutes. So then your final answer is 4 hours, 15 minutes. If you did that the timeline method, you'll get the same answer. So we have if you did it the Z method, you'll get the same answer. So we make our Z. So we have our start time is 10:30. The next whole hour is 11 o'clock. And then our hour before 2 o'clock, or before 2:45 is 2 o'clock. 2:45. Now we go from 10:30 to 11 is 30 minutes. 11, so it would be 11, 12, 1, 2. So it would be 1, 2, 3 hours. So we've got 3 hours, and then we've got 45 minutes. So again, you can basically use the same thing right here. We add the minutes, subtract out the 60. This would then become 4, and we've got 4 hours, 15 minutes. So your final problem deals with me in the actual Alcatraz prison. So that's me in front of one of the cells. And so this picture was taken at about 12:15, and then they locked me in a cell because I was taking too many selfies. They didn't let me out of the cell until 4:47, right before closing time. I want to know, how long was I locked up? Poor Mr. B. So figure that out. That's your bring back to school problem. And I will see you in the morning.